pulled this out of my wall of Sonartecs the other day. I love this club. I love it to bits. I never use it. It's one of those clubs that I always tell myself when I go on a golf trip to America I'm going to take it with me, and then I forget. But it's basically, it's a 5-wood, and I went down the rabbit hole a bit with 5-woods, and they're quite in vogue at the moment. You know, a lot more players have been using them, but I think the reason that a lot of pros have been using them is actually just because the 3-woods become so hot, almost flies like a driver. And one of the things that I would always see, you know, with myself and with other players is that usually what would happen when you made somebody a 5-wood in a traditional way is that they kind of hit the 5-wood nearly as far as their 3-wood, usually better and more consistently. So started thinking about, you know, how do you get it to really do the job that you want a 5-wood to do? So if you hit your 3-wood, I don't know, 240 off the deck or whatever, you know, you really want a 5-wood which is you're able to fly it through the air better, with a higher ratio of carry to total distance. So let's say if you're 240 with your 3-wood and you would land that thing 225 and it runs out to 240, really what you want from a 5-wood is probably something that you can land 215 and run out to say 225. And in order to do that, you really do need to do something with the build of the club and not just rely on the traditional specs to do that. And I'm not saying that other people should go quite as extreme as what I've done, but where I went with that and where I ended up is with a 100-gram graphite shaft. This is an old Fujikura Tour Spec HK Pro 110. It's from like early 2000s. I just remembered it as like a really good tour only shaft. This is about 5 years back, and I was just got a save search. I've still got a save search on eBay for them now because I think they're dead cool, these shafts. But they were kind of early on in the Fujikura thing. I think their logo was cooler. I think all this was cooler. And you know, obviously it's a Sonartec head because I think Sonartec's the only fairway wood worth looking at. But I ended up putting a 100-gram graphite shaft and a 110-gram graphite shaft, and it's 41.5 inches, so that's probably about an inch shorter than a normal 5-wood. And for me, that's how I get the 5-wood to do kind of what it should do. And the other thing I think you want a 5-wood to do is come out of the rough really well. That brings me on to this one. This club, I never use it. I used to use it. And what I love about this club is it's you can give it to anyone and anyone can hit it. It's sort of got this universal thing going on, and there is the odd club, the odd mythical club that does that. And I had a bit of a brainwave with this one, in that it's a bit complicated. It's an old R7 fairway wood head, but this was not the TP version, the non-TP version. So the TP versions, the tour proven versions, had the 335 thinner shaft, thinner hosel for normal wood shafts. But for some reason, the non-TP ones, and I think the only reason I can think of for this was that they would get less breakages, they made them a 350 tip. You never see that anymore. You used to see hybrids with 350 tips or 370 tips. Hybrids are now standardised at 370, so the same as an iron. But back in these days, you were seeing quite a lot of woods being produced with a 350 tip, and I think it was literally just to stop breakages. So this is it's a 4-wood, it's a 16-degree head, and I guess this would have been seen as like a game improvement club, but the head's tiny, and it's a really nice shape, and it's got this lovely curvature to the sole. So it's a 16-degree forward head. Stay with me here. Back in those days, you could still get 350 tip hybrid shafts. So this is a heavy hybrid shaft, so like a 100-gram hybrid shaft, Diamana thump that was produced then, and they produced them, the thumps come back actually, they still do it, but anyway, they produced them in 350 and 370 tip. So I thought, what if I took a hybrid shaft, pumped a load of hot melt into the head, and also this has got two 14-gram weights into it, so I've got a load more head weight, which means I can make the club shorter. When you make the club shorter, you have to add head weight, otherwise it's going to be mega light swing weight. So, and when you make it longer, you have to reduce the swing weight. That's another story. So you can see, this is like, I've described this as sort of half hybrid, half wood, and it's even shorter. So this is more like kind of 40 inches long, which is kind of like a 3 hybrid. And it's a fabulous club, and it's unbelievable how good it comes out the rough. I don't know why I don't use it. I just don't. But it comes out the rough unbelievable, and I think part of that is because it's got a thicker tip on it, which makes it that bit more stable when you're hitting it out the rough. So I hit a couple on the sim and see what they do. Haven't hit them in ages. Start with the old TaylorMade. Love this club. Might start using it again. Just just goes dead straight. By that, I don't mean like it goes down the middle. I mean like it doesn't move in the air. Out the rough, this thing will outperform any of the modern hybrids and any of the modern fairway woods. The only thing better than this out of the rough is the persimmon 5 wood. And the good thing about it is it's got quite a healthy spin rate. It spins at sort of 4,000, 4,300, 143 miles an hour. You know, I'm pretty comfortable hitting a 3 wood to a flag that's off the deck to a flag that's just 250 yards away. Oh! Worst swings ever. Really good club. I think, you know, 235 can stop it on a green pretty good. That's probably even better than the 5 wood, to be honest with you. But anyway, this 5 wood's brilliant. I love it. This is now the Sonartec. So a bit longer, still heavy. I've bent this head. This is a Sonartec SS07, so even though it says 19 degrees, I've bent it back this way quite a bit to make the face sit more open. The amazing thing about Sonartecs is that they were made for the better player, but when they came off the production line, they all sat terrible. You know, you've got the odd one that was really good. They're really varied, but they are quite bendable. So it's like shooting fish in a barrel, really. If you get these and you've got the ability to bend the hosels, you can get them looking pretty good. Hoagie. What's happening?
Owen.
That's just a disgrace. Huh? Move. Come on.
Come here.
Body broken. Alright, that's terrible. Ignore that one. Yeah, so 19 degrees, I reckon bent open, so it's probably more like 17 degrees realistically. And then flattened, so this is 56-degree lie angle, flattened out. That's like bottom groove a bit. It's quite good sometimes. See, it goes a bit further than that TaylorMade one. But you know, if you're playing those sort of soft courses in Europe and the US, move. That's kind of out the middle, sort of bit toey maybe. You see, that is really useful too. It's only run out like 6 yards, so you know, if you sort of, if I was 235 out, to have a club that you can confidently carry onto the green on those sorts of overwatered European, American type places. Is this what we're doing?
Come here.
Oh, that's awful. Let me just get a couple of good ones with this thing. Fuck me, Charlie. Again, that's a bit toey. It's going to go quite a long way. The handy shot if you can hit it, which if I bought a 5 wood, if I went to TaylorMade today and said, oh yeah, I want to have a new 5 wood and I want a stiff shaft and all the rest of it, they wouldn't even be able to give me, probably wouldn't be able to give me anything heavier than 70 grams, maximum 80 grams. There's no chance that it would be stiff enough or heavy enough to really play properly for a 5 wood. And I'm not a smasher of the ball, probably longer than the average golfer, but I'm not anymore anyway. Never really was, but anyway. And it would be a hook machine, right? It'd be a big slappy hook machine, and I certainly wouldn't be able to hit this shot. So, picture the scene: bunker to go over. Just try and hold it up with a fade. Yeah, like that. So that has landed 231, and I think it wasn't up for long, but landed 231 and stopped before 240. And there's not another club I can really do that with. Try and get a bit more fade on this one. Oh yeah! How good's the sim? Landed 233, stopped at 241. So, it's sometimes you've got to be creative, and I think the best bit of advice I could give to anyone is, don't start selecting clubs based on the clubs that are out there. Start by thinking about what ball flight and what shot you want, and then find a club that does that. And that's what I try and do when people come in for fittings. I try and do that. I try and look at their bag first of all as like a set of ball flights and a set of shots that you're trying to create. And it's a much better way of building clubs, and there will be a club out there that produces what you need. It's just that you've got to be creative, and it's so many people are going for a custom fitting, and the person doing the fitting is just totally tied to what comes out of a company's custom department, or what they're willing to do in their workshop. You have to do quite a lot to make these clubs work. You have to add weight, have to hot melt the heads, have to bend them. Have to seek out shafts that are actually quite hard to get. There's quite a lot of stuff that I need just in the normal fitting of golfers that you can't get anymore. And the reason you can't get it is just because it's a bit trend driven, and it's a bit driven by the commercial realities, which are the manufacturers don't really want to hold loads of stock. They don't really want to use a shaft that costs them more than about tenner. And it's those sorts of things. But there are people out there that do really good custom work, and I think if you take part in the process, and if you are demanding about what you want and willing to be clear about that, you can really get some amazing clubs that do what you need them to do. And next time I go to America, I'm going to remember to take this.